Please.
Are Jeremy Corbyn's new tax proposals going to scare away wealth and talent from this country?
The proposals for increasing tax and increasing government spending, are they going to scare away wealth and talent from this country? David Davis, you start on this.
Well, the short answer is yes. I mean, one of the major areas he's looking about raising tax is on corporation tax. Now, corporation tax has come down over the years in rate terms, in terms of the actual rate. And as it's come down, what's happened is the amount collected has gone up. It's now £56 billion. It's at its highest level ever. And the effect of that, I mean, the effect of bringing the tax rate down is that businesses come here, whether it's Microsoft or whether it's Apple or whether it's McDonald's or whether it's...
They don't pay tax anyway.
Well, they do. They do now. Well, let's take that point. It's a fair... I think, actually, it's a fair point because, you know, one of the problems we have is actually collecting tax from internationally mobile countries. And there's a thing called the tax shortfall, which is the lowest in this country of any country in the Western world, 6%. We collect more tax than anybody else. We have a diverted profits tax, which we collect on, the first in the world. So the answer is, yes, I'm afraid it will. It will drive business away. That will cut jobs. It'll cut wealth creation, it'll cut the tax base, and it'll end up not delivering. And one of the things the IFS said was he would not be able to deliver on the basis of that tax policy.
Barry Gardiner.
Under Margaret Thatcher, corporation tax in this country was 52%, and the lowest she ever got it to in the last years of her reign as Prime Minister was 34%. This government, in 2010, has taken it from 28% to 19% and says that it will go down to 17%. Our proposal is to take it back up to 26%, half of where it was under Margaret Thatcher, and still 2 points lower than it was in 2010 when this government came into office. And what we've seen in the past 7 years is as corporation tax has gone down, instead of those companies using the money that they've gained to invest in research and development as they ought to have done, in creating new jobs, in growing our economy, what they've actually done is they've stuck on piles of cash in their reserves and given more money to their shareholders. That's not what that money should be used for.
But I know we're not allowed to believe in experts anymore. But when the Institute for Fiscal Studies says that these tax increases, it's possible that they would raise nothing because of people's changed behaviour. Exactly. Yeah. And when David Davis talks about the record high from corporation tax, how do you know this is going to work?
Look, let's be clear about what the Institute of Fiscal Studies did actually say. They looked at the 48.6 billion of our costed manifesto, and let's face it, we actually took the trouble to cost our manifesto, which the Conservatives didn't. The 48.6 billion, that all the things that actually I think probably people in this audience quite think are good policies, like restoring the funding.
We're talking about spending. We were talking about getting the money, not about the spending.
Yeah.
The Institute for Fiscal Studies said it might raise nothing.
And no,
that's what they said.
What they said, they said in the long term, companies always find ways to avoid paying tax, and that's why in the long term that might happen. But what they also said
then you'd be up the creek without a paddle if that happened.
Well, yes, and so would the government now if they were doing it even on the 19% and the 17%, which was the point of my interjection on David earlier.
The stark numbers, Ben. The stark numbers are the take is virtually double at this rate.
The Institute of Fiscal Studies said that actually our programme balanced in current spending, and you know they did. They said that our current spending balanced. And they said that they thought our estimates of tax revenues at 48.6 might be too high by a maximum of 8.6 billion, they said, because they said it would at least raise the 40 billion. But let's be clear about what the Institute of Fiscal Studies said, and let's be clear that what this government has done is given tax giveaways to the corporations and the very wealthiest in our society, and yet they have cut the benefits. They have cut the funding to our schools. They are not prepared. They have introduced the bedroom tax.
All right.
They're not prepared to give pensioners the triple lock on their pensions and dignity in old age, and now they're proposing to take their homes away from them with the dementia tax.
All right, then. The man there in the second row, I come to you in front before. Afterwards,
Barry,
yes.
I've been through your costings in quite a lot of detail. £48 billion extra tax you say you'll raise. That matches the 48 billion extra that you say you'll spend. And from an Excel spreadsheet point of view, I agree it balances and it adds up. But the assumptions that underlie it are thoroughly flawed. You say in your manifesto that you will raise 19.4 billion from corporation tax and an additional 3.8 billion from reviewing corporation tax reliefs. That, to my mind, does not add up, given that the current amount of tax raised under in 2013 was 48 billion when the corporation tax rate was at 26%, and it is still the same now that corporation tax is at 19%.
OK. Now, I want to hear from some more members of the audience before I reply. Yes, you may.
So, shall we start to talk about the 350